Hey guys, I'm so pumped to have you here with my new friend Joey Rossi, and strength and conditioning and performance coach at Cal State Bakersfield. He's got an amazing story about his college career through to how he's helped students and helped young kids change their lives and work with underprivileged kids and everything else. I think you guys are in for a real treat. Enjoy the show.
Yes. Wow, we're going to never believe this. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Google. Go out there and listen to us. So we're excited about it. We're glad you're excited about it too. Lunch break. We're here today. Got Mike Harvey sitting right over there, and we got Joey Rossi, my friend and Mike's new friend, and he's a strength performance coach at Cal State University, Bakersfield.
You keep bringing all these muscle heads around me. So.
Well, that's all I know. We get this camaraderie thing, and birds of a feather flock together.
Camaraderie?
Yes, we're together. Is that a word, Mike?
Camaraderie.
Camaraderie. Hey, you guys.
Hey, you're giving me a hard time. I got to give you a hard time.
You guys know that I have a hard time with that. Mike likes to expose my disability.
now he likes to make me feel bad.
Yeah,
All right.
that's elder abuse. So. Hey, we're glad you showed up today, and we need you to like us, subscribe, because
share the episode with a friend.
Yeah,
to get something out of it.
Because we believe in this, and
and we want to make sure and give a shout out to our sponsor, Covenant Coffee.
Yeah,
makes amazing coffee, and this is my second cup today.
Hang on
my
for
second
that
cup
ride
tonight, and but. Not only do they have great coffee, do they have good coffee, Tom?
They have amazing coffee.
You haven't got to try it yet, Joey?
I think I have,
okay.
But it smells fantastic.
Yeah. It is. It's good.
It's a local coffee shop.
But they have a great mission.
Randy Martin does a great job.
Yeah, and so he started the coffee shop to help support transitional foster youth because he has a bunch of group homes and stuff that he runs, and his whole heart is about serving that community and not just making a profit off of it like some people try to do. But like he vets everyone that comes into his program from the staff to at any level and make sure that they have a heart for the kids as well. Yep. But then he wants to go a step beyond that because a lot of these kids are ending up homeless, drug addicts, in prison,
they're disenfranchised
suicide.
youth.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So you're supporting Covenant Coffee. I know if you're watching this, you drink coffee, don't you?
Yeah.
Go get some Covenant Coffee because not only is it great coffee, you're supporting a good mission, and you can get it by the bag, by the pound. K-Cups, they have Keurig K-Cups, which we use all the time in the studio here. So whatever way you consume coffee, go check it out.
Yeah, caffeine is a necessary substance. So we're here with Joey today, and I've known Joey and his wife's family for years. Can't say enough about Joey, and as we talk, Joey, I think, when I met you the first time, I thought it was cool because you passed the Gibson girl test.
Yes.
They kind of played him when they first were kind of getting to meet Joey.
Well, I gotta imagine there's a Mike Gibson test in there somewhere too.
There is.
I gotta imagine he can be intimidating. He was intimidating for me when I played football for him. So
Mike is the athletic director over at Frontier. He was also at Miramonte, and Mike's kind of a legend in town.
And one of the best guys I've ever met.
Yes, he is.
Oh, yes, he is.
Yes, he
I
is.
love that guy.
Yep.
And everybody does. I get stopped. I'll say at least 3 times a week with someone saying, "Oh my gosh, are you Joey? Yeah. Is Mike Gibson your father-in-law? Yeah, he is. You're so lucky. Oh my God. Can you tell him I said hi? I will tell him."
Yeah, it's so funny too because the experience gets better in that because Joey gets to work with his brother-in-law. Mm-hmm. Eddie's over at CSUB.
That's cool. Yeah. Who's your brother-in-law?
Eddie Brewer.
Okay.
So he's in charge of pretty much game day operations, facility management at CSUB, and he does a great job. Yeah.
So who got who the job?
Actually, I gotta tell you what, Eddie, I can't say enough good things about him. He's just really fair, and he told me about the job and lined me up for the interviews, but it was a process to get it, but it just worked out.
Yeah.
Well, Joey will sell himself.
No, of course, but it's always nice to have kind of like a little in, right?
Yeah.
It helps.
It is. Yeah. I called a few people that we know at CSUB and just said, hey, you want to really consider this Joey Rossi kid. Who's
There
gonna
you go.
Yeah, and we know
You got
few-
multiple ends there, dude.
Oh, everyone was calling everybody, and it was just really fun because it kind of like just God working through like what you do to be able to get that job is so rare. And I just left Pacific to come into Bakersfield, and it opened up, and it was too good to be true.
So what's your favorite part about the job?
About the job is impacting youth. Like that's what you do. Get up, you get ready to go. The weights and the training is really fun, but getting to impact youth and see
How
them.
so?
I always say a weight room, you can't lie. I've been in it for a long time, and I can tell a lot about a kid after 2 sessions, and I can dive in deep with that kid once you get trust, understand them, understand like you put love into them. And when they respect you, trust you, and listen to you, you can really take a kid from any circumstance and just kind of help build them up in any way, shape, or form.
And not only in the coaching or the physical aspects of what they do, but it'll also start to crack the door.
Yeah.
Where you can speak into their life. And I think that's probably the biggest part that I think, and if you're out there, and I was just sharing this, I got a chance to speak about Alma Mater a few weeks ago, a month ago, and I told the kids out there to grab on to coaches because it'll be a two-way street, or the door will open both ways. And, they will be able to help you through things, as you're learning about sports, as you're learning about the grind, and it'll help you in life.
Well,
And
the coaches
you need mentors.
have,
People need mentors.
Yes, they have more of a relationship, I think, with the students than the average teacher's going to, and I think they have an
coaches.
opportunity to make a bigger impact.
I think at any level, I would say high school, club.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But there's a wall. Like I represent a family of teachers, and Melanie and Mindy are unbelievable teachers, and it's something when you find a good one, like Miss Onandia, unbelievable teacher for my son Maverick.
Well, you guys are all the exception to the rule, right?
Oh yeah, I think it's how you teach it, like how you look at it. Like a teacher is a coach.
But
A
I
coach is a
never
teacher.
had like I shouldn't quite say this because there are some teachers that I had, obviously Tom and Tiffany, but Tom was also a coach of mine, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like I had a much stronger bond with anyone who was my coach than just like the average teacher.
Oh yeah, because it's passion. Like it's hard to relate. You're going to algebra. It's like fire no football.
Well, you're doing hard things together, right?
Yeah, adversity. Like it's just. I think.
Joey, how much? Because your past to get you here was through water polo.
Yes.
You were the competitive collegiate water polo player.
Oh, you played in college. Where at?
I played at UOP, so University of Pacific.
Okay. Where's that at?
It's up in Stockton, California.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I knew it was in California.
And so, I don't think you put a whole lot of time in the pool anymore, do you? Or do you?
No, I'm going to compete just so my son can see me compete. So I'm going to get back going. There's a great master's program in the U.S. now, and we can really get after it.
Yeah. Well, it's there again. And when I met Joey, he was a lot thinner, and I mean, just striated. And I love talking to Joey and knowing his work ethics, because the pool and the discipline taught you a lot in life, didn't it?
Yeah,
and your coaches too, because I can't imagine having to swim or tread water as much as you guys did.
Yeah, there ain't no bottom. Yeah, no bottom. I remember my introduction was 11, Coach Fever, and he said, "Don't you dare touch the wall." And I was 11, and you're not allowed to touch the wall at all. And it's a diving bell, so it's like 15 feet, 13 feet deep. My mom was concerned, but it's okay. I think I'm going to make it. So it was really fun.
It's just a sport where you're continually moving with a resistance of water. A lot of therapists nowadays know how water is a resistance when people are coming back.
So why'd you get into that sport over
heat
others?
stroke? Yeah, grew up in the valley, so I played everything. My mom is a nurse, so and I wasn't a big guy. I was probably like 5'10", 165, and so football wasn't really going to happen. And it's just you fall into a pool. I loved it. Saw it in the Olympics. Just loved what the sport was. And Mom signed me up. I excelled at it, kept at it, did well in high school, and just it was a gate to everything in my life.
And as those doors opened for you, you took the advantage of the opportunity that it kept offering. Because through your athletic career, you stayed at UOP.
Yes. All the way through.
Pursued your master's, correct? And I remember going to Joey for some consultation when Taylor was, going through her program, and Joey said, "Hey, don't stop. You need to get your master's." Of course, in those days, it was just like, "Hey, let's just get in." Yeah. I mean, Joey was that kind of guy. Said, "Hey, you're in town. Could you meet with my daughter?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." So it wasn't the fact he was just pouring into other people's kids that were playing for him or through their sports, but he took time to give Taylor some wisdom on directional wisdom.
Yeah, it's just, I always say sports is a backdoor to education. Like once you're in, just push, meet the right people, represent yourself well. And like I proposed my own grad assistant position. Like I went and I said, I think I can really help you guys. And they said, yeah, sure. That sounds great. And I got that.
How much will we pay you?
Yeah, it was nothing. I got paid in Gatorade.
But you were assertive and you went after what you wanted.
Yeah, but I think assertive is like, I always tell kids, because they have trouble with practice, trouble with coach, trouble with mom and dad. It's how you assert yourself is what matters. So it's like if you stand up to coach. Yeah, if you stand up to coach in front of the whole team, coach has to react a certain way. Mm-hmm. Now, remove the tears. Clear up your voice. Don't yell. Get a meeting. They'll respect that so much more. Convey your message in a private setting. You'll get the answer you want.
Well, all you're saying is show respect.
Yep, that's all it is. And it's RESVCT.
Well, and I think that's the thing is guys, right? And especially like adrenaline-fueled guys.
Yeah.
Right? It's like we demand, I mean, I'm just going to call a spade a spade. We demand respect. That's my biggest thing is someone disrespects me.
And that's the funnest thing. I got to work in Stockton for a long time at Delta Junior College as a night kinesiology instructor. So I got to work weights, and it was a public gym. So I got some of the coolest kids. Yeah, the coolest kids, but kids that just, needed just the cheapest gym in town. And you met all types of people. And it was unbelievable.
Programs going too.
Yes, tons of programs. I coached from 5 a.m. till 8 at night, and I loved it.
Disadvantaged kids.
Yep. Disadvantaged kids. Any type of kid could walk in there, and I did after school and did sponsorships for kids that couldn't afford it. Delta was simply through their university or their junior college, but you met a lot of kids that had done time, had this foster youth, this experience, ankle bracelets, whatever you want to say, and as long as you respected them, it was an unbelievable experience. I just told my wife the other day that was one of the funnest times I had coaching. It was why? Because I think I really helped some kids.
So what was like I know you probably have multiple, right? What was like one of the most memorable experiences you had, like touching someone's life, transforming them?
A girl named Selena. She was great. Like didn't look up, looked at the ground the whole time. Didn't think she could be strong. Didn't have any confidence, and she ended up leaving that class after 8 weeks, deadlifting like 275,
which is a lot.
Pretty good for a girl. That's a novice lifter. Mm-hmm. Bench 155, squat in the mid twos, and she did really well. And like she just said, "Thank you so much for believing in me." And I've heard amazing lines over the time of my career that I just can't. That's all I care about. And Selena's one I'll never forget. Great kid, but the list goes on of just. I didn't know that's how a dad's supposed to be. I didn't know that's what a partner's supposed to be. That's and you go like, oh golly, I'm right. I'm not gonna cry. But it's really fun. But that's one of the ones that jumps out right now. But I have hundreds of experiences like that.
I can only imagine.
You know, Joey. So one of the things that I know you and I fellowship in the Iron Game is like I love you. That the weights. I mean that's truth. Mm-hmm. Somebody comes in and goes, yeah, I can put 4 on. You're like, well, let's do it.
Yeah.
Right? It's like,
let's see it.
So happens to be right here. And then the story changes real quick. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe not 4, maybe 2 and some change, But there's no getting around that. And I love the fact that Selena comes in and you're able to help her achieve it because she's watching the progress as her weights are going up. Her technique is improving, and it builds what I think is confidence.
Yeah.
And that is something that will stay with, I think, young people, and they'll carry that over into life.
And
100%.
I had one coach I worked with was a former Navy high-end special ops guy. He goes, you can spot another special ops guy without even them introducing themselves. Like, we can see it. And I realized And once I learned how to box, I carried myself differently. Once I got quote unquote strong, I carried myself differently. And that's what I teach and try to teach all of that, especially to the female population. Especially just trying to say no, you're better than that. No, don't you dare give up. Yeah. There is no glass ceiling. You're gonna roll 100. And they just go no, I'm not. Yeah, you are. Like, you can do that. Like, and I've been around really a lot of strong female figures in my life that have shaped me just to like, nah, I'm going to push you just as hard. Like, I don't see a difference at all. Like, I get that perspective question asked a lot. How do you train girls differently than guys? Well, I think girls are tougher and they can handle volume better.
I think they are too, actually.
Oh, and when you see a girl squatting 4, you're like, yeah, let's do it. And the guys just go, oh, that's a lot of weight, you know, but it's just really fun.
And they can't go, but she's a girl. You know what I mean? You know, it's like, that's always been the thing, but when you see a strong female in there driving some iron, some pushing some weight up,
she might be a girl, but she can kick your butt.
It's a respect factor.
All athletes, like, who you training, an athlete? I'm pretty the same. Like, it's what you do.
You know, talk to us about the young Joey and Mallory in Stockton, because your wife's school was a little ways away.
Yeah.
And, you know, there was a lot of driving involved, and she did a lot of recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
You were training. And so how did you guys manage that early relationship?
I actually get to talk about this with a couple people, because in our profession, this happens a lot, and we're trying to do good in everything we do. So we mentor couples in long distance. It's because A, it's respect, and then one is transparency, and the big one goes right back to respect. And that's all you have to do. Because I knew early on Mallory is the one for me. And I'm like, I'm not letting her go ever.
Go back to the girls.
Yeah.
You know, go back to the Gibson girl test that you got put in.
Yeah, they just all introduced themselves with different names. So I had to remember like who it was, and you're meeting every family member. And I was like, I swear that one was Mindy and that one was Melanie. But they flipped it, and then it was just hilarious.
That's funny.
And just many stories about that, and I just really, it was a fun process. I'll call it that.
Well, you married into a fun family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They did. I mean, they have a lot of skills in that side, and I thought Mike and Tammy did a great job with their 3 girls. So as you worked along and you ended your athletic career, and you know, I know you had opportunities, and you chose to stay at UOP and start to develop it into things. I remember when you told me something about how you had to win coaches' trust because they had their athlete. And when they trusted like that athlete to you, how it like, don't hurt my toy, right?
Yeah, no, that's the sentence we get is just don't hurt them. And you get this coach in your gym. You go, what are you doing? I don't know. And when you first take over a program like this coach, like being married to one and seeing so many, like it's their life. It's not coaching. This is how they put bread on the table. So I say horses respectfully. These are their animals. These are their horses. Like you have to take care of them. And again, if you coach with love, it's easy. But that coach doesn't know you. Yeah. And there's a lot of stereotypes. And there's a lot of bad strength coaches out there. And again, it's once they see what you do and how you do it, you slowly see them start to disappear. And I love my head coaches, but I love when they're not in my room because they really shouldn't be. There's other things you can do, but I love the communication. We meet a lot outside of there, and it's a chance for those athletes to open up. I always tell one coach, I'm going to be a conduit for you, and they love that one. What do you mean? Well, your kid's going to act differently when you're not in there. Yeah. And they're going to express things to you, show their true self. Because I know if my coach is in a room, I'm never going to show I'm tired. I'm never going to show I'm fatigued. I'm going to bottle everything up.
Because it's your boss.
Yeah, it's your boss. Like, I want to play.
Your paycheck is playtime.
Yeah, but then again, when that coach exits, I get to know every kid. My goal is always at least 3 facts that have nothing to do about sport. You know, I talk about body. With that? I made it up. But it's like, it has to do with, I had a great boss. He says, if you can teach a 6-year-old, you can teach a college athlete. So we studied pedagogy and education, and I have a lot of degrees in education, but like, he goes, no, it's true. Like, look at how Steve Jobs designed the iPhone. Like, if a 6-year-old can use it, an adult can use it. So we broke down pedagogy, and it's really a fun science, but it's like, if you can break it down simple enough, you can coach any age person. And it's really fun to look at that. But then a kid does not want to talk about basketball every single way. It's fake. It's a fake conversation. Hey, bodybuilding. You're gonna just go to that recycled film, go to that recycled conversation.
Repeat.
Some people come talk to me. How the guy's looking, and I'll go, all right, here we go. Okay, well, I'm in public, and this is gonna be a great comment. I like this person, so I'm gonna talk about all the positives and all these things. But I want to have a real conversation with someone. How's that internship going? hey, how's your dog doing? I know you're into Frenchies, right? Yeah, or doodles or whatever it is. And they just spark up, liven up, and it's great.
How do you get those conversations going though? Because you're primarily in the weight room, right? So
I'm everywhere.
Huh?
I'm everywhere. A strength coach no longer exists in the weight room only.
Okay.
Like we have a rule. Those kids actually see us the most.
Really?
Yeah, because when you're with coach on certain programs, but like if you're a single sport strength coach, you're going to see them in the morning for wake up, weight check, breakfast, rollout, and we call it like triage. Then they're going to go to classes, whatever, hit practice. Practice has an activation series, so they're going to do 30 to 15 minutes with you, then go to practice. Usually you try to be present at practice, then you lift after that. So it's really crazy how many times you actually get to see a kid. And
Yeah.
it's amazing.
So you do spend more time with them.
So yeah, it's a position that's getting more respect, and it needs to have more respect, but it's a position like you can Google it on anyone, like first guy I hire is my strength coach. First guy I hire is my strength coach. He's around them the most.
Have they historically had lack of respect?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because they don't see the importance in it. Well, and what I saw coming up through the beginning of weight training as a performance enhancement. I mean, there again, when I started, football players weren't lifting. It just wasn't. I still remember Lynn Dawson smoking a cigarette at halftime at the Super Bowl. You're like, holy smokes,
Could you imagine that now?
Oh, but I'm just saying, they just didn't believe
You'd
it.
probably get kicked off the team, let alone.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so now I believe that the sports fitness started making athletes better athletes, but it also started opening up doors for the marginal athlete.
Yeah.
So you took a marginal athlete, and Tim Tebow, he didn't coin this saying, but he said it a lot, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Yeah.
And so I think fitness opened up those doors where a kid could get stronger and bring up his level of play in any sport. Today I was on another podcast. We were talking about how there used to be a lot of pushback from baseball coaches.
Yep.
Oh, our kids don't need that. I don't want to muscle bound. How many times did you hear that?
I'm gonna control my eyes from twitching because I got to work at Delta Junior College, one of the top. Delta. Like Coach Reed Peters is an unbelievable human being, and he works with one of the best JUCO baseball academies in the country. And I got to take what they did and go, it's not that complicated. Like there's 18,000 different ways to train baseball players, especially pitchers, because it's don't press, single arm press, overhead press, scap stability, drive line, Eric Cressy, all these different people coining a different methodology, which is all amazing. Because you got to respect, people don't respect baseball as one of the highest frequency lifting teams now in college sports because they're big boys. It's amazing to see a baseball team come in and lift.
I remember I was helping a baseball player who's playing for UC Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And the coach wouldn't let him lift weights until Nolan Ryan appeared on this cover of Sports Illustrated and talked about working out.
I was just going to say Nolan Ryan.
I mean that issue dropped every baseball coach's defense mechanism. Oh, I don't want him to get muscle bound. I don't want him to get tight. I don't want to, when Nolan Ryan talked about...
He was kind of good at baseball, right?
Yeah.
And
set a new standard.
And now actually you're having single sport baseball strength coaches train the quarterbacks in high level football now. So
really?
Yeah, Zach DeCant. A lot of guys. We have a great baseball guy at CUCB. Shout out to Tyler Moffitt. He's unbelievably brilliant. His dad actually runs the kinesiology program. He's a young guy coming up. It'll be hard to hold on to him, but he's really smart with baseball. Yeah.
We see some of that because you'll see. So when and this has been my theory forever, and I've always talked to high school kids when I used to tell Mike, hey, play all sports, play baseball, do whatever is offered.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in a sport where I wish I would have continued on, but we had single sport coaches. Oh, don't do that. Because they wanted you to be a year-round athlete, and we're finding out that is the wrong way to do it. Because you can be I think accomplished at all those sports, which each one makes each one better.
I nerd out on this because I have two small boys, and I love the idea that I can help them become more athletic, and they will not play a single sport until they're in high school. Like actually coaches look for it now. They don't like it because the amount of injuries I've seen kids coming into college with bone on bone, torn labrums, herniation here, this, that, and it's like, you're 16 and you don't have any cartilage left in your knee. Jeez. Like, and it's fun, but it's kids that want to be great. Like the onus of like effort is ingrained in them from a young age. And it's just, it's crazy though. Like some of these kids, what they're doing, it's like, just take a breath. It'll be fine.
I have a family friend, and he has a son that needed Tommy John coming out of high school, but it actually stopped his college career. You know, the decision was, and it was their decision, is like, hey, do we get it now or after his freshman year? I was on a podcast today, and I was talking about it, and they were talking about injuries. And I just told them, I says, well, I never had a chance to take time out for injury. I had a great orthopedic. His name was Curlin Job.
Yeah.
Job. I mean,
Job.
Yeah.
And
I remember when
that's funny.
I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
That's a cool story.
I remember when Curlin looked at my right knee.
It's a shoulder therapy program.
And, he looked at my right knee. I mean, there again, I had people investing money in me. So when I twinged my knee, you know, and I started, you know, kind of limping, and my, you know, squatting went down a little bit. They said, so Curlin goes, hey, Tom, you got an ACL that needs some work. So I go, what does that entail? He goes, well, you need to take 6 months off. I go, I ain't got 6 months. And, you know, I mean, basically, if I don't look like I do at least twice a year, you know, I lose my endorsements, I lose my sponsors, I'm not on stage, which means I'm not in magazines. So every time I'd come in with another injury, he'd go, so do you have time to take 3 months off? I go, no. so it's funny because I've said it on the show before. You've heard me say it. I tell my wife Tiffany right now, if I'm ever unconscious and they do an MRI, only fix what I'm in there for. They're gonna look at me and go, this guy's a train wreck. But I've made it to 65, and I've done it by improvising. You know, I remember Curlin telling me, so can you work around this? I go, huh?
Yeah, I got it. And
because if there's a will, there's a way. Yeah. and just did it. I mean, it was just, but it didn't help me as the older Tom, because, you know, it'd have been better if I would have taken care of some of these when I was younger.
Yeah, I think the more you learn, like I love training. I used to do the stupidest things as far as what training, I thought good training was. And now it's just like, wow, I was really not doing the right stuff, but I loved it. Like no regrets on that.
Well, you know, and there again, I know as we're going to have Joey on Muscle Matters, so he gets to talk about muscles, and then on Ministry Matters, talk about his passion. And so I love new theories.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you guys are bringing into the sport, is understanding the kinesiology, how the body actually works, and how it, you know, increases in strength, and then how to use that when it applies to a lifting and preparing somebody to play their sport. Because then the ultimate is that's what they got to do.
Yeah, and that's the thing, we just say, don't forget that.
Yeah.
Like, you're not a weightlifter, you're an athlete.
Yes.
Like, stop.
and being a stronger, a more fit, or a with more endurance makes you better at whatever you do.
Yeah, we always say it's not bigger, faster, stronger. It's a fitter, faster, stronger. Like, just do it more.
Yeah, and I think that's something that they're bringing to the exercise world. That's why the knowledge that they bring to the college athlete is, I think, was more impactful, and then it's now kind of seeping into the pro ranks. Mm-hmm. I love this last year's season where Netflix had the show Quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahone said, after I came out of college and I didn't have my trainer, I was getting more injuries. Mm-hmm. So finally it was like, no, I need this guy to come with me, because this guy's kept me healthy all through college, and I get to the pros and I'm getting hurt. Yeah. The secret was him.
Yep. And they know that, like, once a kid signs a big contract, they'll actually go get their strength coaches. They build them a facility. They say, I want access to you 24/7, but you can travel, run your business, but I'm your main client. And that's where the NFL strength jobs are really difficult. Joe Kent, my idol, he does a great job, but it's management, because all these guys have coaches, all these guys have trainers, and it's like, what are you doing? How are you doing this? And they come together to train, but half the time they're away doing stuff, and you're like, I don't know what that guy's doing out there, but we'll say it's okay.
Yeah, and they're paying for that knowledge of, and, you know, Joey, talk about this, because when you see a kid, you know, I mean, we're I'm going to say this word, so we're body guys.
Yeah.
You see an athlete walk in, you're looking at them going, okay, we got some material here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I just heard a funny one. So I think a lot of our profession goes back. This is a far reach for some people. It goes back to like really like farmers and agriculture and animals. Like you think of an Arabian horse, you think of a quarter horse, you think of animals in nature, how they move. There's a simulation to that in athletes, but you can see a kid that's got the right frame and hanger to add 20 pounds. This kid can't. This girl can't do this. She's got a Q angle that's going to cause an ACL. She has hamstring weakness and quad over whatever, you know, and the list goes on. So when we say like, what's the proper program? Well, that's where our KPIs, our key performance indicators, the tests we take dictate the program you're on. So let's say you are 260 at 8% body fat. Well, you don't have a really big motor because you're so lean you can't run. You should get a little bit, you know, like you should change your item. I want you to put a little excess weight on. Increase your fats. And then you have one girl that can like blow away in a breeze. You really do have to get stronger. And it's very simple. And then some people trick knees, some people train single leg, not unilateral, like bilateral, but it's really interesting. Like you have to look at the kid and you can tell immediately. Flat-footed. Oh, okay. Oh, you throw it, you're lefty. Yeah, I can see the imbalance. Like a tennis player one time I had, one erector was like 3 inches wide, the other one was just a centimeter. I was like, oh, your back hurts, doesn't it? He goes, yeah. But I'm really good at tennis. Like, I bet you are.
My serve's amazing.
Yeah, but I just can't sit straight for very long. But I love reading bodies. Like it's just fun, especially with swimmers. I like to try to guess the stroke.
You know what's so fun too is that you do that without even knowing it, right?
All the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
even my own son. I'm like, oh man, he's gonna dunk when he's 8th grade. Like this kid can jump. My other son's a meatball. He just hit everybody.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love it. So, Mike, I think we're wrapping up lunch,
Yeah.
right? And Joey, thank you for coming and sharing some of your love that got you from an athlete through college and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, love it. So, hey, if you haven't seen the Muscle Matters with Joey Rossi or the Ministry Matters, you want to catch those shows.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. God bless.